Hey, today I'll be talking about the first 2 episodes of RuYi's Royal Love. We start with our emperor, currently still just the 4th prince, dreaming about marrying his longtime crush, Qingying. He wakes up all of a sudden and immediately asks about his 3rd brother's wife selection, wanting to make sure that he didn't choose her. It would have been an auspicious marriage, but for some reason she wasn't picked, and now she's missing. They're obviously close friends as he immediately knows exactly where to find her. When he asks why his brother didn't end up selecting her, she admits that she purposely farted her way through the selection so he wouldn't choose her. I'm curious, did she fart so loudly that everyone heard her, or in such a thick, nasty fog that it was obviously her and she had to be disqualified? 4th Prince not so casually brings up his own bride selection happening soon. He asks her if she can come, just to scout out the other women and advise him on who to choose. He definitely doesn't want to choose her or whatever, that would be gross. Teenagers. Just before 4th Prince's wife selection starts, 3rd Prince gets himself into some serious trouble for colluding with officials. The emperor is so angry with the 3rd Prince that he has him removed from the family registry. He also blames his adopted mother, the Empress, for either encouraging him or at the very least not managing him well. He has her permanently confined to her palace, never to see him again. With that, he heads to 4th Prince's wife selection ceremony. 4th Prince is waiting with his adopted mother, Shi Guifei, noble consort. He's stalling, but not for his father. He's clearly waiting and hoping for Qingying to show up. Finally, it can't be put off any longer, and he has to choose. The ranking system is a bit different for princes. There aren't as many levels as there are for an emperor. The highest level is Difujin, primary consort. Technically, their only wife, and this person would become empress if the prince became the next emperor. Next up is Cefujin, secondary consort, and finally, Gege, mistress. He approaches Langhua, the girl with the best connections. Just as he's about to hand her the RuYi scepter, which would mark her as his primary consort, Qingying shows up. Another 2 seconds and you would have been too late. I love a dramatic entrance as much as the next person, but you're playing a dangerous game here, Qingying. 4th Prince has now decided that Langhua, who he was clearly about to make his wife, would actually make a great secondary consort. She has no choice but to accept, but she is so bitter. He passes right by all the other women and stops in front of Qingying.
清哥哥聪颖伶俐，是为嫡福晋。
So cute. What a couple of lovebirds. And then the emperor arrives. 4th Prince is so happy about marrying Qingying, and the emperor is like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So Qingying is the empress's niece. Since the empress has been locked up and punished for her misdeeds, her niece cannot then be welcomed into the royal family with open arms. Obviously, Qingying had nothing to do with anything, but blah 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 family ties. 4th Prince tries to tell the emperor that Qingying shouldn't be punished for her aunt's actions, and the emperor is like, okay, but here's a rebuttal, I'm the emperor. Qingying accepts his decision gracefully and returns the RuYi scepter. Also, note how excited Shi Guifei is when she hears that the empress and her son are finally out of the picture. Qingying now has to leave the palace entirely, but before she goes, she visits her aunt, the empress. The empress tells her to tell the rest of the family not to try and plead for her, lest she bring them all down with her. 4th Prince sees her to the exit, and in private, he promises that he isn't giving up on them. He goes to see the emperor to plead his case. The emperor isn't exactly mean about it, he just says there are rules and traditions, and in positions like theirs, having power doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. 4th Prince relents and tells him he will marry Langhua as his primary consort, but he does still want to marry Qingying. The emperor is moved and agrees to let him marry her as his secondary consort. The emperor in this drama is so cool. He still follows traditions as you would expect, but he's willing to make concessions for the happiness of his son. I like that. Meanwhile, Shi Guifei is busy gloating to the empress about how her descendants will never again be part of the royal family. So when the eunuch comes to tell them that Qingying is going to become a consort, their reactions are pretty comical. You heard him? I really like that they don't ignore the older generation's part in all this. These two have been enemies for years, and the fighting hasn't stopped just because they're menopausal. Now they just use their family as chess pieces.
我每走一步，你就算一步，算不到红利，对我的侄女清英如此钟情。
Qingying is allowed to re-enter the palace. She's worried about her new status and the fact that neither of his parents seem to like her very much. In the face of that kind of pushback, there's no time for the maybe I like you flirting they were doing earlier. They're honest with each other about their feelings. Fourth Prince promises that he will always take care of her, and I'm sure he will 100% keep that promise. To sort of distance herself from the shame associated with her clan's name thanks to the Empress, Qingying's name is changed to RuYi, so that's what I'll call her from now on. Fourth Prince is married to his primary consort Langhua separately since she's the official wife. And then RuYi and another woman are married to him on the same day. When they all officially meet each other, Langhua presents both of them with bracelets to represent them all becoming sister wives. That night, Fourth Prince enters RuYi's chambers. He tells her that he never slept with his primary consort Langhua and saved his first night for her. I love, how cute are these two? I really appreciate how easy everything is to follow. We know who's who, what their motivations are, and what their personalities are like. Although, to be fair, I am pretty fresh off my rewatch of Legend of Zhenhuan, and there's a lot of overlap. Still, I love the way these characters are presented. There aren't any evil caricatures. The Emperor isn't like, no Qingying for you, stupid boy. He explains why he made his decision, and in the end decides to bend the rules a little because he can see how strongly his son feels about it. These two are chaotic, but again, they don't completely disregard their son and niece's feelings. They're all just people. Not good people, but people. Also, what a well done rivalry to start with. These two have barely said a word to each other, but I can already see the hate starting to build in Langhua. And I get it. RuYi made her look like a piece of trash, like the consolation prize on game shows that contestants pretend to be happy with. Fourth Prince so clearly wanted RuYi as his wife and had to settle for her. And it seems like everyone knows he didn't sleep with her, which is incredibly embarrassing. Whether or not this is what RuYi wanted, I'd have ill feelings towards her as well. As for our main lead specifically, I will say I don't really buy Joseon as the teenager she's meant to be playing. She's so calm and put together. Even in moments when she's supposed to be silly and playful, she still seems to me like a fun and playful woman in her 30s. Wallace, on the other hand, I pretty much buy. From the nervous air he has when he talks to his father to how head over heels he is for RuYi. I won't say he seems 18, but he definitely acts young, if that makes any sense. In any case, I wouldn't trade Joseon for the world, as when we get to these later episodes, there are few actresses who could pull off the depth she does. Till next time, thanks for watching.